This is my brand exploration video. So, for my first item, I picked these strawberry shorts that I purchased. I use them as pajama shorts, and I bought them because I thought they were cute and comfortable. And graphic design played a role in this purchase in regard to the colors. They're pink, which is my favorite color, and it's also a color that I just think is cute. It also has a cute little pattern, the little strawberries, and that caught my attention. As far as it looks, I liked the cut and shape of the short, and they are very soft and comfortable, which is important to me because they're pajama shorts. So yeah, that was my pajama shorts, and I have never bought a pair of pajama shorts from this brand before, but after owning them for a little bit of time and wearing them, they are very comfortable, and I would definitely consider repurchasing because I think they're super cute. I think the pattern is simple, but also something that I really enjoy, and they're also incredibly comfortable and serve a great purpose as pajama shorts. The second item that I chose to show was this board game. It's called Camelot. I played this game with my roommates and my family, and then I chose to purchase it for a couple reasons. I really enjoy the aesthetics of the game as well as the game itself. The colors, the blue and the yellowish orange, are complementary, and I find that really visually satisfying. I think that works together really well on the box. As well as inside of the game, there are the little pieces that are shaped like camels, which are a really cute shape, and they are all different colors. So that's a yellow one, there's a blue one, and there's all different colors of the rainbow for the camel pieces. And I personally found that cute because it's distinguishing, and also it just creates a nice visual. I also really enjoy the art that's on the box. They're super soft colors and transitions between the colors, and there's not really any super harsh edges or lines. It's all very flowy and natural looking, which I found personally satisfying. And I also really like the look of the character designs. Some of them are pictured here. They're all very unique and interesting. I believe there's about 8 characters within the game, and I think that they're all really different, and they all have a lot of different specific elements to them, which I thought was kind of a cute way to play with people and pick your favorite character. The shape of the camels that I showed earlier is also really appealing because part of the game is stacking them together, and it makes them fit super nicely, and I think it just suits the game really well. I also like the logo of the game. I think the font kind of has an adventurous feel to it, which pretty accurately describes the feel of the game. So I think it was a good choice, and I also like the gradient that's within the font. It kind of blends these two colors together well and kind of incorporates that further. And I have not previously purchased a board game from this brand, but after playing it, I would definitely consider repurchasing because of not only that the game is fun itself, but I definitely would be drawn to products with similar aesthetics. And I think that owning a game and being able to like show other people games that I have, it's nice when they have pleasant visuals. It makes them just generally look more appealing when you're trying to choose what to play. My next item is this sticker. that I got in Yosemite National Park. And I collect stickers that I put on my ski helmet, and I get them at every national park that I visit. For this sticker, I really enjoyed the colors. They're all very nature inspired, like the green, the brown, the yellow, and the orange. They're all very nature inspired, which I think fits the national park itself of Yosemite. There's a lot of greenery there. And so I feel like that was a good representation, and I liked that. I also really enjoyed the font choice. It's very bubbly and cute, and I kind of am drawn to somewhat of those softer styles as opposed to super harsh or professional, maybe more professional looking fonts. I think this is just a little bit more interesting and unique. The shape of the sticker was also something that caught my attention because a lot of stickers will simply be in like a rectangle or a circle shape, which is a little less interesting than how this one is formatted, where it follows like the outline of the graphic itself. So like it follows the shoes and then the little mountains in the background and the little banner that has Yosemite on it. And I think that's a lot more interesting and unique, and I like the way that it's going to look on my ski helmet as opposed to a more simple shape. So I feel like it helps it stand out a little bit. I also chose this one because of the feel. It's a lot thicker than a lot of the stickers that I was choosing from, which to me just proves to me that it has a better quality. And because I'm going to put it on my ski helmet, that durability is important to me because I know that it's going to be exposed to a lot of moisture, and so I just have more confidence that this will stand up. And I do have a history buying these national park stickers, and similar ones to this, seeing as I have now purchased one from Arches, Bryce Canyon, Sequoias, Zion, Mesa Verde, and Capitol Reef. And the reason I keep returning to this style of national park merchandise is not only because of the high quality, but the aesthetically appealing graphics that make me want to show them off on my ski helmet. My fourth item is this protein powder. It's called Bum Protein Powder. I bought this protein powder because over the past few months I've been aiming to increase my protein intake, and so I take this every day. And when I went to purchase protein powder, it was something that was very new to me, so I was kind of overwhelmed by the options, and I didn't have a particular brand in mind. I think I was greatly influenced by the graphic elements of this particular brand in comparison to other alternatives. This container has a lot of soft colors. It's monochromatic, which makes it just a little more simple compared to something that might be busier with a lot of different bright, strong colors. And this one kind of felt a little more feminine to me in comparison to a lot of the super in-your-face, very masculine feeling options. And I also really liked the pretty simplistic typography choice for this, and I feel like it also contributes to that simplicity. And like I said, is also a little less aggressive. And I overall really enjoy this brand of protein powder, not only for the taste and just its general purpose, but I just find it to be visually a little nicer, and when I'm going to purchase them, this one just kind of stands out because of its simplicity to me, like in comparison to all the other alternatives on the shelf that are a lot more chaotic visually. And so I have purchased this several times now, and I plan to continue purchasing it. Alright, and my next one is the Lego Orchid set, which this is a box for it, and I have the actual orchid here, the completed one behind me, and I use it for decor. That was also just really fun to build. So I bought it as an activity to do with my boyfriend because we both wanted to buy botanical sets to build together, which is why I purchased it. This set in particular caught my attention because from Legos that I purchased in the past, a lot of the boxes are very colorful and busy, and they kind of have a lot going on the general box. However, this set has a solid black background, which to me at least feels like it's targeting somewhat of like an older audience, kind of advertising it as less of a toy and more of like a piece of home decor almost. The Lego colors themselves of the set also are pretty minimalistic and simple, which is nice because I know that when I bought it, I wanted to use it as decor, and so it's nice to have some of a more limited color palette so that I know it'll be able to fit into my apartment style a little better than something that had a lot more colors going on. The typography, or the font, on the box also was nice. Here we have like a little description almost of what the set is. There's of course like the Lego typical symbol, but the actual name of the individual set is nice because it isn't almost a little bit of a fancier font than that Lego symbol, and so that additionally gives it more of a mature feel. And so they have the name of the collection in that fancy font, and then underneath it, it has the kind of plant that it is. And I think it was nice that they chose to put that in pink instead of white, like the collection name, because it kind of tied in the pink in the actual set and just kind of created more of that cohesive look on the box. And it also, above that, has this little orchid symbol, which I thought was super cute and just a nice little detail to add a little just more interest to the box, because it is a very simple box. So that was just a nice touch compared to the simplicity. And I'm very familiar with this brand, and I've purchased numerous sets from them, and it's one that I'll continue to go back to. And that's because they've continued to pique my interest with every set, and they've been continuing to increase just the options in their sets. And also I feel like they're starting to branch into appealing to a more mature audience, especially with this kind of new branding, like the darker boxes. And I think as I kind of also mature, it's nice to have something fun to do like this, but also it has a certain feel to it and color scheme that I know I will be able to maybe use as decoration in my living space. My next product is this Not Your Mother's Curl Talk. And I bought this because one of my goals this year was to try and do my natural curly hair, which is something that I've never really tried to do before. And so when going to purchase products for that kind of thing, I was very unfamiliar with what I should buy, and this one stood out to me particularly. The colors, once again, are fairly simple. There's just pretty much the purple and the white. And I think in kind of a sea of products, sometimes simplicity does stand out. So, and I really do like the colors that they chose as well. I think that in general, the look of this packaging is effective. It's not too overwhelming, especially for someone who is new to finding these kinds of products. That made it easier. The font that they used for the Curl Talk portion, I thought was fun because it is on a more simple background. I like that they chose somewhat of a more fun font, and I think it kind of fits the words kind of fit with the product, like it's for curly hair, and I think the font itself has more of a curly energy to it. And so I think that was very fitting. The brand logo also caught my eye. It's super subtle, but in Mother's, instead of O, there's a little heart, which is a very subtle touch, but I think it just adds a little more warmth to the piece and makes it feel a little friendlier almost, and it just makes it feel more personal almost. So this was my first time purchasing this brand, but I definitely plan to revisit it in the future. I feel like it's very effective, and I also have, seen a lot of alternatives, but I haven't found one yet that I feel like I enjoy the visuals of as most, and that I feel like convinces me that it's a quality brand. Something about the simplicity just makes me a little more confident in, I think, the item. Maybe that they're not overcompensating for the item. Yeah. So for my next item, I have this Thunderbird hat. I won a gift card to the campus bookstore. And so I went in search of some SU attire, and I really like to wear hats when I'm hiking. And so I went looking for one, and I really found that this particular one stood out to me. The colors, once again, are fairly simple. There's just the tan and the red. And I don't always enjoy the combination of the white and red for the school colors. I think something about it I just find more challenging to style in clothing. And I really like the color tan. I knew that it would be harder to get dirty when I'm hiking, and it just, in general, gives me more of an outdoorsy feeling to it, which was the purpose of this purchase. But it still does incorporate the school colors. The typography on this hat is pretty blocky. It's very simple, but I like that it's not in just a straight line. It isn't an arch, which gives it more interest, but also keeping the simplicity of the hat. And just the general look, the incorporation of this red stitching adds to just the visual energy of it. I think if it were all tan, it would be maybe a little too simple. So that's just kind of a nice detail to add a little bit of interest. As well as the feel. The text is embroidered, so it gives me the impression that it's high quality and that it's a little more unique and maybe less mass-produced, which I found appealing. Maybe like a little less cheaply made than other options. And I had previously purchased attire, not a hat, but I have a crew neck sweater, also from the bookstore, and I have found that it's pretty similar in style, so I think I am attracted to that. Once again, that's simpler style, and it also has that embroidered text, which I think appeals to me because it's interesting and looks a little higher quality without being too chaotic. So that's the hat. My next item is this tote bag, and I got this while I was in Belgium, and I really needed more space to put things. I was kind of running out of luggage space, so, and I also wanted to get a souvenir, so this kind of is a compromise for that. It is a painting on the bag by Claude Monet, and so it serves as a bit of a souvenir from my trip to Europe, but also it had a functionality purpose. I really like the colors of the bag. I think they're all very pastel and cohesive. They're very soft, and I feel like they fit pretty well into my style. It has kind of like a fairy tale feel to it. The general look of the bag, instead of having the graphic just on one side of the bag or in a square frame of some kind, like I feel like a lot of tote bags do. This one wraps entirely around the bag, which I think is just a lot more interesting and adds a lot more than if the graphic were limited to one space. In terms of typography, on the very corner here is Monet's signature, which I think is nice because it does ode to the painting itself, instead of maybe putting his name in like blocky letters or more of like an Arial font, something cleaner maybe, and maybe putting it like in the middle of the bag. I think this feels a little just nicer and mimics the painting a little better. So I had not previously purchased a bag of this brand or style really, but when purchasing it I did notice a lot of other choices of the same kind that I also found visually appealing. And if I were to travel again and see other bags of this kind, I think I would be interested in purchasing. And then my next one is actually in my window here. This is my 100 cookies cookbook. And I really enjoy baking, but I often end up making the same thing over and over again. So I wanted to find a cookbook that had new recipes, but it's also cute to look at so that I could put it on display. And I really enjoyed the pastel colors of this book. It's mostly pink. The back is pink, the side is pink, and pink is my favorite color, and a lot of the things in my apartment are pink. The font in the middle there is pretty simple. It's nothing crazy, but I think because the background is busier, it's nicer to have that more simple font. It makes it stand out a little better. And the fact that it's gold also makes it stand out better. The look of the book in general is really nice because it has this background with a bunch of different baked goods and a different variety of them, which makes me interested for the recipes inside of it. Yeah, adds that intrigue while also being cohesive in like a color palette, whilst having that variety of different baked goods, which makes it a nice display piece. I also like the shape that the title is in. It's in that circle, pink circle here in the middle, which separates it from the more chaotic background, because I feel like if it was just the title directly on the background, it would be hard to read. So I think that was a good choice. And I've never bought a cookbook at all, but I think that if I were to find another cookbook, maybe like more meals instead of baked goods, I would be interested in purchasing again, because I really like the functionality of this, and I also, clearly, I like using it as decor. I think it's really visually appealing, and that it goes a lot with, personally, things that I am attracted to. Alright, my final item that I chose is this Alani energy drink. I have been looking for an energy drink that I enjoy because I often need caffeine to get me through the day. However, a lot of energy drinks that I've tried I haven't really enjoyed, and they've just been kind of a lot for me. But I wanted to try this brand because, unlike a lot of energy drinks that I have seen, it has a lot more of like a feminine appearance. I think the colors add a lot to that. They're kind of warmer colors, and it just cause it kind of had like a relaxing color palette, I think, summery. The overall look of it makes me feel like I'm sitting on a beach, so I thought that was nice compared to some of the super intense brands like Monster and things like that that were just overwhelming and had a really intense feel to them. The font on this is very fun and has a lot of movement to it, which I think is like more flowy than the super intense Monster or Red Bull fonts. And so I think that again contributed to some of the carefree feeling. And I tried this brand for the first time this week actually, and I really enjoyed it, and not only the taste but just the general energy made me feel like it was a little less masculine, I think, and it resonated a little bit more with me personally, as opposed to other choices. So this has been my brand exploration video.